Hey guys, my name is Nick and welcome back to the channel, and in this very special battle report I've invited Tom back over, who you may remember from last year with his Nightlords was playing against my demons and it was a bit of a one-sided affair. He's now back with chapter approved 2018, dropping a few points here and there. His army is a little bit better off and he's also bringing a new special character into the mix as well. This time round he's going to be facing my Blood Angels, so the second outing for the Blood Angels. If you may remember, I just played Nick Beer at the end of last year. And go and check that video out. It's about the 27th of December, I think. But I'll leave a link in the description below to see how my Blood Angels fared against Nick's Tyranids. But in this video, we are a bit of a grudge match. But more importantly for me, this is the first time I'm using all of that new terrain that I spent 3 months building at the back end of last year. And we're going to finally get to see it on the tabletop in all its glory as we fight for control over the battlefield. We're also going to be using the new chapter approved 2018 missions as well, so a little bit of a divergence away from the main battles of the rulebook, and some very interesting twists that come out of the back of that. So let's get straight into the video and find out how we get on. Right, so I am joined by Tom once again. Thank you very much for coming over, Tom. Much appreciated. Looking forward to a bit of a grudge rematch, although I'm not using my demons this time, so it might be a bit different this time. But you've bought your Nightlords once again. A bit of a modification from last time. Chapter approved has reduced some points
massively,
which means you've got some new toys to add in and bolster your ranks.
I do indeed.
Excellent. So let's take a look at what I'm going to be facing today. If you want to give us a run through.
So slightly more painting than last time as well. Slightly. A beautifully painted fire raptor.
Yes, I'm very impressed on the paint job on that.
Thank you very much. So again, same as last time. I've got my unit of 5 bikes with 3 melters in. That will eventually all be using the Custodes jet bikes that I've converted up to have all the back wings and the skulls and flayed skin and various bits.
This was the unit that you warp timed on me last time, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not going to guarantee that it's going to happen again, but it probably will. 3 units of 10 raptors, 2 of them with double melter, 1 of them with double flamer, unit of 20 cultists just over here.
Well, they've gone up a point, haven't they, in the new chapter approved? Cultists were one of the things that did go up in price.
Yeah, they did.
A whole point.
A whole point is shocking.
20 whole points you've got up by there.
They are probably going to get phased out at some point. But I just need to get some other bits finished that I know that I'm getting for Christmas, so like my Sakara and stuff like that. 2 units of 5 Marines with flamers, both in the Rhino, and then 9-man Havoc squad with some extra bodies just to take some of the shots off that I've since the last game I've converted up the main autocannon guys to kind of look a little bit more scary and terrifying.
So that's one of the things that did come down in points prices, which has allowed you to, because you only had 5 guys.
I only had 5 guys.
So you've managed to increase the body count there, which is good.
Which will be nice to take some wounds off. Lord with jump pack with power axe on the left. My new converted up the remake, 3rd or 4th remake of my Nightlords Lord that I only started painting up the other day. Sorcerer, and then I'm going to start playing about with and seeing if he's any good. Harken Worldbreaker, who is going to get converted up to look more blue, because it upsets me a little bit that he's not Nightlords and his Black Legion, but you know, such is life.
He's got some interesting cool rules as well.
Yeah, 18-inch negative modifier to leadership.
Ouch.
Every time he kills a character he gets +1 attack, and he also means that raptors can re-roll all their failed hits.
Tasty.
Within their 18
tasty,
inches.
Tasty.
Hence the 30 raptors in this army.
Yeah, well, that's going to maximise the buffs that he can possibly do.
Absolutely.
And your army Yeah, there's a lot of bodies here compared to mine. So let's take a look at what we're going to be facing against the Nightlords. So against the Nightlords we are taking the Blood Angels. So last time I faced these guys I was using demons. This time the Blood Angels are out, and we have a battalion detachment, which is 3 squads of 5 Marines with a flamer in one of those squads, led by the Chief Librarian Mephiston and a Slam Captain. So although that looks like a sword, that is going to be a Thunderhammer in this game. He has the Angel's Wing, a relic jump pack as well. And on top of that we have a Storm Raven gunship. It does have Hurricane bolters, but they are magnetised and I have misplaced them somewhere. So I'm not quite sure which bag they're in. They're in a bag somewhere. We also have a Spearhead detachment with 2 Bile Predators, 2 Dakka Preds, so twin assault cannons, Sponson heavy bolters, a unit of 5 Devastators with missile launchers, and a Primaris Lieutenant to go with those. And then we have a Vanguard detachment, which is 5 bolt gun armed Death Company, a unit of 10 with Thunderhammers and power weapons. We also have a Death Company, a Dreadnought, and they are all led by Lamartes. So 2 named characters, a non-named character and another non-named character, coming in at 1,998 points. Mephiston, for the record, has these powers. So Smite, Unleash, Rage, Wings of Sanguinius and a Blood Boil. So he knows 3 but can only use 2 per turn. So that's what that guy's rocking, and we're going to come back when we see how the deployment, how the missions and everything are going to be rolled for, and then we're going to do the important who goes first roll, and we'll be back shortly. Now before we get into the game, this is the first time, if any of you have been following my channel recently, I've been doing lots of terrain. So other than this piece here, which isn't quite finished yet, but you did see on the video how I've converted that up, all of my new terrain is now going to feature in this battle report for the very first time on the channel. So over on this side we have all the Sector Mechanica stuff, all featuring here, all kind of linked in together over this little bridge, moving into some of these smokestacks and so on over in this end. And in this final corner over here is all part of the Mechanicum side of things, is a Void Shield generator. We're not going to be using any of the terrain rules though, it is just a feature of the board, so none of the special dangerous terrain or anything like that's going to be going on, so it's just going to be used as is. Across the middle of the board then we have over here, we have the little gun pit, little forward operating base. Then we have the large Sector Imperialis church with the big statues at the front. And then we come round to the other side past the Bastion combo landing pad. And then we have a gun pit, another mini Bastion and gun turret over here. And then we move into sort of the underhive side of things. So the accommodation hab blocks. So we've got lots of old school terrain over here that's just been given a new fresh lease of life as part of my terrain projects. So from a table perspective it is very City Fight-esque. So playing on this particular gaming mat, we've got all the roads and then all these buildings in between. So there's going to be lots of elevation, lots of line of sight interest as we play through the game. So let's get on with the deployment. So the mission we are playing is from the new chapter approved 2018, and it is a Visions of Victory, which has got some very interesting points that we'll probably bring up during the game with regard to deployment. So there are 6 objectives which are numbered throughout the battlefield, including sort of, you know, one down here and one over there, and there's some across the middle in strategically suitable places like the fuel injector for the refueling station over here. But once you've deployed those bits, there's a roll-off to see who deploys first, which is a little bit of a difference to the standard rulebook. Normally the person who deploys the last objective then chooses the deployment zone and picks their side, and then the opponent will deploy their first unit. In this case, The rules are, if you didn't win the roll-off, and I didn't, so Blood Angel was deployed first, you deploy your entire army, and then your opponent decides deploys their entire army. But if you deployed first, which I have in here, I will automatically go first unless Tom manages to steal the initiative. So a big departure from current edition standard missions. So this is going to be very interesting. So there's no roll-off with a +1 for deploying first. So just to cover my deployment, I have my Storm Raven here. Inside there are 5 Death Company, Mephiston and the Death Company Dreadnought. Just under here, holding this objective first, are 5 Tactical Marines, whilst up on the elevated platforms is the Lieutenant and the Devastators. We move along to the next piece of Mechanicum terrain, blending in with the red nicely. 5 more Marines. The Dakka Preds are over here on this flank with 5 more Marines. The Jump Pack, Death Company, Lamarters and the Slam Captain are all hovering above the battlefield with their Jump Packs ready to descend and meet more Jump Pack troops. It's going to be Jump Pack on Jump Pack action.
There's going to be Jump Packs everywhere.
So on the Nightlords side, starting over in this corner here, we have the large unit of bikes and the Havocs overlooking the battlefield from up here. The Cultists just chilling by objectives because that's what Cultists do, with the Sorcerer, I assume, ready to cast Warp Time at a moment's notice.
Maybe.
Maybe. 1 unit of Raptors is on the deck down here with one of your Lords.
Yep.
Yep. The Rhino over here is loaded with the 2 squads of Tactical Marines or Chaos Marines, and the Fire Raptor is in this corner here. Everything else is in reserve, which is 2 blobs of Fire Raptors and a couple of characters, right?
Yep.
So
my Lord and Harkon.
I think there's some aerial combat going above the battlefield as everyone with their jump packs is just sort of chilling, ready to jump in on the battle. So the important thing is, are you going to try and steal the initiative?
I am.
Because we don't have to roll off in this particular one. It's just a case of if you get a 6,
Right.
we go in.
I do not.
And you do not. So the Blood Angels go first, and when we'll be back, we'll see how they have done. So the Blood Angels have gone first, and the nature of this particular mission is quite interesting when you're doing tactical objectives. So you have to draw up to 4 at the start of each turn until you've got 4, but you draw them in 2s and your opponent gets to pick which one you need to choose out of the 4. So Tom has kindly given me some of the ones that are pretty tough, and I'm going to be doing the same to him, don't you worry about that. So I didn't score any points based off of this because these objectives are quite tricky to achieve from turn 1. So let's move into the movement phase. So this Storm Raven sort of turned left and went this way, and the only other movement in this particular turn was the Bile Predators moving forwards just to get in range of the Fire Raptors that were over here. So these guys shot into the Fire Raptors and killed 5. They promptly passed their morale test. The Storm Raven fired Hurricane Bolters and Multi-Melters into the Raptors that were down there. Killed 3, I think. 3 Raptors died in there. And then all these other weapons, so the Las Cannons and the Storm Strikes, all fired into here, along with a cheeky little trick from here. So I used a stratagem point for a flak missile, combined with the Signum from the Sergeant, which basically meant hitting the flyer on a 2+, and any hit causes D3 mortal wounds. Obviously a D3 for me, if you've ever watched a battle report, means a 1, which is promptly what I rolled. So combined with the Storm Strikes, that's taken 4 damage now in total. So from 16 wounds now down to 12. Quick maths there.
Yeah,
see
nice.
that? You're a teacher, you'd approved.
I'm terrible at maths.
Well, you do history, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's all dates, isn't it? Then you have to be
dates.
like, yeah,
It's fine.
it's
Yeah.
dates. At least it's not geography and colouring in, eh?
Oh, yeah.
So other than that, that is the end of turn 1, and we're going to move into the Nightlords turn 1, and I'm going to try and pick some horrible cards for Tom. So
Cheers, mate.
when we're back, we'll see how they've done. So the end of the Nightlords turn 1. So the Fire Raptor kind of mirrored mine, but flying in formation almost. Turned right and flew down the main street. Flying around this battlefield is going to be pretty So that's going to be fun. And other movement phases, as expected, and if you've watched this channel before, you would have seen this little trick before with the bikes being warp timed all the way forwards here. And you see there's a missing bile predator. So combined fire from the autocannons up here, the Havocs, and the triple melter guns, which all hit and did countless amounts of damage at close range, 2d6 discarding the lowest. That bile predator promptly exploded, and properly exploded, causing D3 mortal wounds all around, which actually finished a wound off on the bikes, which they'd taken in the previous round. Killed 2 Marines here, took a wound, a point of damage off of the other bile, the other points of damage coming from Endless Cacophony, which meant that the Havocs got to fire twice. So this one here is down to just 8. Gonna have to do some leadership here. And the Raptors, they just move forward over here towards that central objective. And we lost 2 wounds off of this bad boy from the missile launchers from the Fire Raptor. Fire Raptor also fired its Reaper cannons into this squad of Devastators, and the Devastators took 3 casualties despite being in cover. That was pretty horrific, really. So I've got some leadership there to worry about. And you scored first blood for killing the bile predator, so you take the lead on 1 point to 0. But equally, I've given you some rubbish cards to pick from. So things like you've got to kill Mephiston, which will be an interesting challenge.
Very exciting. And also my bikers then completely fluffed their charge roll.
The bikers, yeah, did declare a charge and rolled 3, and you decided not to go with the command point reroll at this stage. So because you did actually fluff it quite badly, and you'd probably need a 5 or a 6 on that reroll.
Yeah, needed at least a 5.
Yep. So you decided probably to hedge your bets and save that stratagem. So you did burn 1 command point.
Yep.
On Endless Cacophony. So you're down to 8.
It's 2.
It's 2 points.
Yep.
Ah, so you're down to 7 command points. I'm on 8. But you take the lead on 1-0, and we move into the Blood Angels turn 2. Some reserve stuff might happen imminently. So we are at the end of the Blood Angels turn 2, and it was rather effective, I thought.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. So this little biker down here, movement first, sorry, let's cover movement, shall we? So my Storm Raven dropped off 5 Death Company, the Death Company Dreadnought right in the middle here, and then Mephiston over here to go and look at the Fire Raptor. So that's what happened there. We moved into Psychic phase, and Mephiston cast Wings of Sanguinius and flew towards the Fire Raptors. You can see the Fire Raptor's not there, we'll get to that in a second. And cast an extra attack for the Dreadnought, so he was extra smashy. Shooting phase was next. There was a couple of bikers here. It did take pretty much all of this end of shooting to take it down. So these Tactical Marines here, and the ones that moved forward just under here, all rapid fired into him.
And the multi-melter from...
And the multi-melter from this guy.
Which rolled a 1-1.
Which was, yeah, even with a command point reroll, still couldn't hit for Toffee. Which meant this guy here then had to fire his heavy bolters in, and that finally took the last wound. The assault cannons fired into the Havocs, and combined with the Hurricane bolters from this guy here, took down another 3, leaving you just on the 1 guy left. The last cannons fired into the Sorcerer, taking just 2 wounds off of him. I whiffed all the damage rolls on that, didn't I?
That wasn't very good.
There was a lot of whiffing going on.
However, you made up for it.
However, let's get to the important bit where we've made up to it. So Captain Smash, the Death Company, and the Martyrs, who's actually down here, hiding in here, all landed here with a view to take on the big super Fire Raptor of Death. Everyone got into charge. Wings of Sanguinius meant that that Mephiston could charge him because he then has the fly keyword. The Death Company, with their reroll of their charge, got in with a charge of 11, and Captain Smash, using a stratagem, let me just remind myself of the stratagem name, it is Descent of Angels, which meant he was rolling 3d6 for the charge. He charged at 11 as well, and then he used his Thunderhammer and basically just swatted the thing out of the sky with a flat 12 damage, and that was the last remaining wounds off of the Fire Raptor. So they've now consolidated a little bit further towards the Rhino that is now over here, but we are awaiting the arrival of the reinforcements and lots of Fire Raptors coming up. the smashy dreadnought down here, stomped in, and with a little bit of shooting as well from the other death company that are here. His own storm bolter, his melted mist, but dispatched that unit of fire raptors that were down there, the unpainted ones. So the rule of unpainting is they die first.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's good news. But we're going to move from a points perspective. This is the interesting bit, because I am on 0 points.
And I'm on 1.
You're on 1 point. High scoring game, high stakes game. So mission critical objective for me was number 4. Lamartis is now holding objective 4, along with secure objective 4. So we go to 2 points. And purity through bloodshed, which is secure a victory point for an enemy unit defeated in the fight phase. And D3 if at least 3 units were destroyed in the fight phase. I did 2. So I only score 1 point for that one. And supremacy, I don't think I'm holding, oh I am holding 3 objectives now. I have held, because I now have the middle one over here within 3 inches of those guys. So we have supremacy, which I believe is that D3 points for supremacy? D3 victory points if you have 3 objectives at the end of your turn. So we have
1.
Why do I ever roll D3s?
I don't know. You might as well just count it as a flat 1.
D3 equals 1. Yeah. That's standard. So actually we picked up 1, 2, 3, 4 points this turn, and we go 4-1. Let's see what the Nightlords can do with all their reinforcements.
And let's see, I can screw you over in your next tactical objective draw.
Yes. So we are at the end of the Nightlords turn 2. And what we saw from a movement perspective then, we had 2 squads of raptors land, one right on this back edge here. And then we had another blob land just over by that tape measure there. Shooting wise, not overly exciting, was it, really?
No.
So I lost a marine down here for some shots from here, the melter gun specifically frying the brains of one guy down here. The cultists pretty much, and who else fired into my death company, because I lost a bunch. No, I feel no pain at all.
Yeah, you feel no pain.
So the cultists who were getting all a bit cocky over here, shot into the death company. I had 2 wounds. I saved one, failed one, and feel no pain the other one. Just
because sheer insult.
Just sheer insult.
Oh, and the Havoc took a wound off you.
No, the Havoc fired
at the Storm Raven and didn't do anything.
That was right. Yes.
Sums up that turn for shooting for me.
But the exciting bit really was the combat over here. So Harken and 10 raptors leapt into combat and charged my death company. I heroically intervened with Captain Smash and and Mephiston. You attacked with Harken first, killing a couple of death company. I heroically intervened and interrupted combat with Captain Smash, who killed 5 raptors. And then you continued to pummel them, and with the -4 modifier, which is what your army hedges its bets on.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we've seen the results of that. I'm now -4 leadership. My remaining death company, which were down to 6 by the time all the combat was done, promptly failed morale. And very similar story over here. So after the combat from the Sorcerer and the Lord in here, basically I was left with 1 Marine. He then failed morale, because Harken's modifier to morale is 18-inch range, so that gap there was suitably under 18. So the end of your turn, Tom. Did you score any points?
Haven't killed Mephiston yet.
No. Oh, we had one more bit of combat. Sorry, you charged 5 dudes. Charge Lamartis. Lamartis then smashed him in the face and killed 2. So that was the other bit of combat going on. But points, where did we get to?
Did I kill any characters?
Nope.
No.
Because you didn't charge them, so you couldn't hit them. Oh, you charged Lamartis, but yeah, you bounced off Lamartis.
Blood and guts.
Was that beat a unit in combat?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I killed 1.
You killed 2 units in combat in total.
Sorry, yeah. Oh, I didn't kill 3.
Oh, you needed 3. So same as me in my last turn, right? So
yeah,
you're up to 2 points now.
Yeah, 4-2.
4-2 as we move into the Blood Angels turn 3. So the end of Blood Angels turn 3. One of my objectives that you kindly let me have was swift advance, so advancing 3 units. So the first thing I did was advance this tactical squad here, this tactical squad over here, and the one that was there. So they all advanced. So that was my 3 advancing units. The Storm Raven swung round to this position from just over there. The Dreadnought just lined up for a multi-charge, as did Captain Smash and the Librarian, Mephiston himself. So that was all of the movement, and then the rest was in shooting. So from shooting, pretty much the Storm Raven killed 2 guys with his melters and whiffed everything else, because you used a stratagem
in Midnight Clad,
which meant I was -1 to hit, and I promptly then whiffed all of my hits, barring those melter guns, and also from the Dakar Pred as well. So you actually lost 2, 4, 6 Raptors in total, which would have been a lot worse if you hadn't done -1 to hit. Even my little flamer dude down here only managed to get 1 hit, even with his auto hitting. This guy up here and the Primaris Lieutenant, they also shot down to here, contributed another 2 dead, I think, in total. So the bolt rifle from the Lieutenant and the missile launcher, using the Signum to sort of semi-negate that -1 to hit with a +1 to hit. And then we moved into some combat, and combat was the cool part. The Dreadnought here, multi-charged. He's put 3 attacks on the Lord, which actually did not a lot, but did kill the Sorcerer. And in reply, you took a wound off the Dread. The Dread's down to 5 wounds. But Captain Smash and Mephiston finished off the last 2 Nightlords and Harken as well. So even with the invulnerable saves, that flat 4 damage, I put in 8 damage, which took him out. But I did go first with Mephiston because he was facing a Power Fist guy.
Yeah.
So I was careful about your intervening, which you did do.
Yeah.
But I thought that I'd save more Lightning Claw attacks on my Lord than Mephiston getting Power Fisted in the face. Especially when you've got Killer Psyker and kill Mephiston. So it was a cagey choice, but I went with Mephiston first. Sanguine Sword carving them in half. And then I took a wound, I took 2 damage, sorry, from Harken before smashing him in the face with the Thunderhammer. And that was the end of the turn. So we look at the points. There's Lamartis' combat as well. Lamartis killed 2 guys, and then the attacks bounced off of him in reply. So swift advance, I managed to get that. Defend objective 5. Did we remember where that one was?
Which you moved
Which
off,
I ran
so
away from, so I didn't get it. Yeah, I wouldn't have got it anyway. I need to be there for 2 turns. And then hold the line. Your opponent must have no models within my deployment zone, but you picked it on purpose because I had to get through 2 units in effect, your Lord and the Raptors. And defend objective 2, which is contested, so I don't get. You have to do it for 2 turns, and I haven't got it at the moment. So I managed to score 1 point, so that puts us on 5-2 at the end of the Blood Angels turn 3, and we go into Nightlords turn 3. At the end of the Nightlords turn 3, very little shooting, to be honest, because most stuff was either not able to shoot, like all these guys down here who just ran out and tried to look imposing. A little bit of shooting from the Raptors down here and the autocannon guy up here. Autocannon whiffed. He did fire at the Bile Predator, but did nothing. He failed to wound, in fact. So we moved on to the more interesting things, which was the assault. So the Raptors down here and the Lord multi-charged the unit. The Raptors charged the 5-man squad. Managed to kill just 1, but both units were completely wiped, as kind of expected. In fact, 1 guy was left, but the morale phase saw the end of that. You know, -3 leadership was never going to be a good thing. Over here, though, the Dreadnought finished off your Lord. Inflicted 4 wounds on you. You managed to save 2 of them with your invulnerable save, but at flat 3 damage, that was game over. Smash Captain was shot at quite a lot, and with a combined fire and some other bits and pieces going on down there, it was down to just 1 wound when these guys charged. He wounded him 3 times. I passed 2, failed 1. And of all the times to pull out a 6+ Feel No Pain because of the Black Rage, because of his special ability, well, the stratagem that I've paid for him, he actually survived.
Amazing.
And then smushed 3 of them in return. Lamartis finished off this unit that he was fighting against, and Mephiston's just kind of stood there. He had to move towards you in the consolidation phase last time. And that is the end of your turn 4. Did you score any points?
Yeah, well, psychological warfare.
As the doorbell goes off mid-recording.
Nice.
Psychological warfare.
Yeah, psychological warfare and secure objective 3.
So 2 points, and my dinner's arrived, and you might be able to hear that on the microphone. So 2 points to you. Puts it at 5 versus 4. And are we out of time?
I think we are.
I think we are out of time, so we're going to pretty much call it there. But in my turn next, what would actually happen? I mean,
Smash Captain would have smashed.
Yeah, I'd probably then get that middle objective because I've got defend objective 2. Is quite well. I don't know. You've got these guys coming in, but I guess by the time Mephiston gets over there and his combat, realistically, I might get that one. And all the combined shooting over there from those 2 vehicles into your remainder.
You probably would have made a mess of the Raptors at least.
Yeah, Lord may well survive, so I might not get hold the line, but I think it's going to be pretty tricky for you, unless you've got some good cards left, pretty tricky for you to pull back.
Assassinate, so potentially if they didn't die in combat.
Yeah, that was the one there. That 6+ Feel No Pain would have had you Warlord and Assassinate.
Yeah.
Which would have actually, that 6+ save has basically saved the game.
I've got Linebreaker as well.
You have got Linebreaker. So, puts you 5 apiece. I haven't got Linebreaker because I'm out by an inch. So at the end of turn 4, we're going to call it a tie.
Excellent.
That would do, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but that's the nature of the beast. 4 turns in, so we'll call it 5 apiece. What did we think of the new chapter-approved missions?
I enjoy them. No, they're good fun. They are really, really good fun. I think they allow for bigger armies to be able to not have to worry about multi-drops and stuff like that, and I think it allows for a little bit more flexibility in the stuff that you want to bring on. If I had more time to build up myself bought, my girlfriend paid for Santa presents, then I would be able to put a lot more stuff in, maybe take the cultists out, fill a little bit about, and then, you know, try out some other bits. So I think the points changes have made Chaos a lot more flexible.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't have to constantly rely on, you know, oh, I need to use cultists to build up to get my battalion so I can get, you know, to get the command points and stuff like that. Harkon's pretty cool as a character. He adds to that buff on my army. I mean, he ate it, but to be fair, he didn't have a head or arms.
So when he threw his spear and missed, it was kind of understandable, really.
It was pretty fitting. But
I like the new mission format. I like going back to the whole deploy first, deploy second thing, and then the whole randomness of the cards, I think was rather hilarious.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, just as a reminder, if you basically draw 2, you know, for every objective you need to take with the tactical objective cards, but your opponent then gets to pick which one you're going to face. So yeah, you pick the most difficult ones, obviously. But then, you know, that's going to come back at you as well. So for me, I thought that was quite a fun thing, and it means that, you know, Plan A doesn't survive contact with the enemy, as they always say, and that made it for more randomness. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you very much for the game. And we'll call it there, and I'm sure you'll be back.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've got to get a win now.
1 loss, 1 draw.
1 loss, 1 draw. I've got to get 1 win.
So there we go then, guys. We managed to get 4 turns in the end before we had to call it a day, and a very worthy 5-all draw. Very low scoring because of the twists in the way that the scoring works with the objective cards. So a real twist on regular gaming, where you kind of know what you're going to try and do, but this twist where your opponent is picking of a pair of cards and picking the worst one for you is pretty horrendous. But at least being able to burn 6 cards off the bat and get rid of things like domination and some of the weird ones that are just so difficult to achieve in the best of times, get rid of those rubbish ones, but then be given the slightly less rubbish ones and make your opponents have a more difficult time. Made for a real bit of a laugh as we were playing, but as a great game and a worthy draw. So thanks Tom, I'm sure you'll be seeing more of him on the channel throughout the year, but I hope you enjoyed the battle report. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I shall catch you guys on the next video.